Let's start with Roshan. Welcome to the Web3 Voice. Can you introduce yourself for the larger community?
Absolutely. First of all, a pleasure to be here. Thanks a lot, Ravi, Mahesh, everyone for hosting and making this particular podcast possible. I am super glad to have an opportunity working with Zeeve, met with such an amazing events across what you guys do. So now on to me. I am an IT Bombay 2019 graduate, currently working on Trikl. Since last 2-3 years, I have been involved in Web3. And before that, I was working on emerging tech with World Bank, couple of South Asian nations. So that's where I got first introduced about Web3 that, okay, governments across the world are very interested in blockchain aspect of things. And when I moved on to creating a win-win situation for community leaders through digital assets, that was my initial start, and that's when I got to know about the crypto side of the things. So I have been working with community leaders for a couple of years now. I have been a content creator myself for last 6 years. So bringing everything together, that's where we recognized the opportunity with Trikl, that there are a lot of community leaders managing so many platforms, and especially with Web3, everyone, every protocol, every company has either a Discord, Telegram, Twitter, or something. The reason being Web3 is decentralized. So we are currently with Trikl, we provide actionable insights and automated AI powered tools, Web3 powered tools to manage large group chat discussions. So that's what we do. Yeah, happy to answer more.
No, I think that's a very interesting startup. And I think Zeeve has already been working with Trikl for quite some time. So we know that, Web3 has seen a massive growth in last 3 to 4 years. And as we see, it's all about getting traction when somebody builds a startup. And how to gain traction, and that's where the whole engagement and collaboration piece comes into picture. And the success of any startup in the Web3 space or even Web2 space is more about getting traction for the application they have built or the innovative venture they have built. And as you rightly said, these startups, they use some social channels. There's a lot of content generation that happens, and eventually the key metric is being engagement and collaboration. So how do you think artificial technology is helping with engagement and collaboration in building these Web3 communities?
So it has been very interesting because we talk, let me touch upon the Web3 aspect of community management first. So when Web3 started, the first idea was decentralization of different things. When we say decentralization, means people coming from different places and not a single entity owning that particular thing. There is no monopoly, duopoly, or oligopoly, but a decentralized ecosystem. But if you look on the community side of things and how whatever we consume in today's world, that is being so super centralized, especially with Facebook and Google. And you having raised money running a business, you might be spending around 40% of your entire chunk just to Facebook and Google. If not you, there are many companies who are doing that. So the decentralization of those aspects were missing, and that's what we thought of bringing on the table. And why this is important is, see, there is in blockchain, there is nothing sort of, hey, this is like a closed community. Everything is transparent, everything is open, everything is on the chain. So, but the problem with that is data is scattered. There is so many touch points for any business or any community, but all those touch points are scattered. So if you use manually, we are doing that. Definitely there are so many awesome community builders and managers who manage all those communities, but for achieving the scale or for um, getting the larger adoption of Web3, it is very essential that we now create a place where all these systems are automated, and the community managers work like cyborgs, that they have an additional tools, additional capabilities to automate those systems, integrate not just blockchain but the community side of things, the channels which they used for communication, and all this should come to one platform. And for blockchain companies like Zeeve, it would be extremely beneficial if you control the transaction data as well as customer data. Right now, rather than guessing that, hey, my members might like this, people love Web3, people love XYZ, rather than guessing, we provide an AI can provide in general actionable like insights that, hey, these are the things which your members like. Why don't you cater to those audiences? So maybe not a straight answer, but hope I answered your question.
Right.
We'll go deeper into that
No,
as
no,
well.
no, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right. So AI can definitely, because you're right. There's a huge chaos in terms of data that is there, and then there are different kind of interactions, and making sense
Mm,
out of those interactions to see what is the kind of impact you're having, who are the major influencers, etc., becomes very important. Where as you rightly said, AI can play a huge role in identifying, making sense of this chaotic
mm,
data, or let's
mm,
say humongous amount of data.
mm,
Okay. So another area which is very important before even engagement comes in is the whole content creation piece. And we have seen with a lot of conversational AI and a lot of different other AI platforms,
mm.
content creation is taking a different shape altogether.
Yep.
So, what do you see? One, what are the benefits of using AI for content creation? And second, what are the challenges that you see in the long term?
Okay. So it's very beneficial, but it's like a bullet. It can be used to save a life or take a life. Now, for example, for advertisement companies, it could be a huge cost saver. For any kind of advertisement, I saw a recent video on LinkedIn. Someone posted like a normal FaceTime. They changed the avatar, they changed the background, and everything like this. Some of the companies, especially renowned companies in India and abroad, have started coming up with influencers called virtual influencers, which are AI based. So that's one side of it, which is providing value to businesses, communities, and people. But the other side of it was a recent incident where so there has been a protest going on by some of the national players in India, and they uploaded a post which was, in that post they were sad, but someone edited those photos to make it look like they are smiling. That is one on a local landscape. But on a global scale, we have seen so many videos being circulated on the internet with the face of Elon Musk, with the voice of Elon Musk, asking for Bitcoin wallets, and people have been donating so much amount, like thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars get deposited into those wallets. So that's the bad aspect of it.
Got it. No, I think you're right. There's a huge potential. So if it done right,
Mhm.
used right, it is brings in
Absolutely.
saves time, brings in a lot of savings in cost. But yeah, at the same time, using fake voices, fake profiles, fake simulations,
Mhm.
it can be misused to a large extent.
So,
Um,
absolutely. And we always say that we want to build with the customer. And in Web3, that was one common trend that, hey, it might not be the idea that is finalized. The community should come together. They will brainstorm on the idea that, hey, this is what we want to build. Everyone votes on that vision. And for that kind of communication, we need a two-way interaction. And a lot of companies mistake communities with audience. They built a large set of audience. You can pay for the audience, but for community, you need a two-way interaction, two-way communication channel. And I guess what you guys are doing so much effort into putting that all the systems in place, be it Telegram, Discord, Twitter, or any place, responding to the messages. You have so many partnership channels. So these are the things which other companies also need to do. Yeah.
Got it. So one follow up on this. So I've tried various AI content platforms. So one, right now the content that the AI generate is quite cut and dry. Like for example, I'm a voracious reader, but we always like authors because of the way of writing, how they have written, not just what they have written, right? It's the style of authors. Some have got a very deep conversational style, which penetrates deeper when you read something. So, do you think eventually AI would be able to go to a level where they can replace human writers?
Replacement would be a wrong word, but couple of years back we couldn't chat with them. Now we can chat, and some of the AI models are so confident in the way they lie, so they are already surpassing humans in that. But with terms of writing and AGI kind of concepts, that hey, we are so close to the AI world that there is very less differentiation in terms of what's machine and what's not. And I feel a lot of editors have started using it for improving their discussions. I have started so many tools for writing emails, summarizing these meetings, and so much more. So yes, the summary part has started coming into picture, but writing from scratch. So there is an inherent bias in AI systems that they can only do something basis the data they are trained in.
Right.
But the data that needs to be trained is very specified right now. While on the other side, when humans learn things, the data which is fed, we also learn basis the data, environment, everything which has been fed and how we grew up. But the type of that data is very varied. It's voice, it's someone else's learning, it's visual learning, it's also experimental learning, it's also errors which we make in time, it's also that we are communicating, seeing other people around, voice, video, text, everything. So all combined, that sort of data, I would say training models do not exist for AI, so they lag in that manner. But for us, that's our advantage, and yeah, it's hopefully they aid human capabilities and not replace it. And there will be definitely replacement in terms of types of jobs, but even if there needs to be an element of, hey, I connect with that thing emotionally, so that will always be there.
Got it. So now coming to the some other use cases, like we have seen chatbots and virtual assistants, they have come up. So how do you see AI-based chatbots and virtual assistants going to play a major role in Web3 community building?
So like I totally feel that is one of the best things which are happening, because most of those conversations free up time for human mind to do other tasks. So AI, when implemented with any technology, can automate tasks, personalize the experiences in much greater manner. So all the sales training, all the call training, so that can be done very easily. And with the integrations from third-party services, let's say there is something happening, what's on your blog, what's on your social media, what's on your own public repos. If you combine all those, feed that, and then create a chatbot around that, that is like, it knows everything what is happening. Since it's integrated with social media, it is updated real time on what you guys are doing, what are your plans, is there any new launch, and the 24/7 instant kind of data upgrade keeps improving that. So that leaves us humans with more creative time, which we are best at. It can be, so that is one part. The second part is identification of trends, that hey, what is happening around the world. So since it's not just your data, but also the data around the things which you work on, or around the ecosystems like news or something which is around you. So bringing in data from those touch points as well. So, and identifying trends that what could happen. Like it's kind of unrelated with Web3 communities, but in IPL, AI has already started doing match predictions. This is how the performance has been. People have, like the creators wear a lot of AI based tools, and those analyze their movements, their bat speed, their ball speed, etc. And they are already predicting match outcomes with a high, decent enough accuracy. So these kind of systems, if implemented in Web3 communities, since we don't care about data privacy and we don't want to hide anything, we are like the open chain, we are the open ecosystem. For us, we don't need to fear. In fact, it is a blessing for us in disguise, maybe. But yeah, for the companies holding the data back, it's gonna be a challenge.
Right. If we talk about Web3 communities, and especially some of the most prominent platforms like Telegram or WhatsApp, so there's a big challenge of one, a lot of spam groups and spam messages that come in. And I think a lot of it has become easy with these large social networks to spread misinformation. And as you rightly said, with or without AI, there's a lot of challenges related to trolling and misinformation today spread across different social platforms. So how do you think AI algorithms can help us, discover and mitigate this kind of behavior within the Web3 communities?
So yes, that is a challenge, and especially with community managers, especially in Web3 communities, sitting across different geographies, in different time zones, in different working remotely, and in kind of an anonymous social media platforms, relatively anonymous platforms. It's very challenging to manage spam. There are definitely tools which aid manager capabilities, but with AI, things are bound to change in ways like, one of the most crucial thing is we can analyze each individual discussion. Sometimes the spams mention something which is very evident. Please follow, like, go, reward, bonus. These kind of terminologies are there, which is
right.
Which the current systems were quite easily able to filter it out. But there are subtle nuances that, hey, I am doing so and so, something in my family is going wrong. Can you please help me? If you want, do XYZ. So these are the subtle ways of manipulations. Maybe that link is false.
Right.
So those kind of subtle things are not being solved by the current moderation engines. So one thing is definitely real-time monitoring. Community managers cannot manage 24/7. They cannot stay awake 24/7 managing each messages. But real-time monitoring with AI and instant moderation of every message which comes into the group increases the likelihood of removing those messages as early on, as soon as it arrives from the group, taking it away, so that less people consume that misinformation, spam, or other things. And somehow it is also able to figure out more subtle nuances in whether someone is a spam, whether someone is not. The other thing which happens is, if rather than looking at individual message, you should look at the profile of that message. What I mean is, who is the person behind it? How has their engagement, how has their activities been in the group? Create a credit. So apne liye, in banking terms, we create credit ratings. This is all the activities. We cannot create activities basis, hey, this time I'm paying loan, good. This time I'm paying not paying loan, bad. No, it is the entire activity. So basis that, you can do a trend analysis and a risk analysis of that particular user, that, hey, what is the propensity of this particular individual doing something which is not good for my community, or is he a valuable member or not? So those kind of analytics is what AI brings to the table, which was not possible before a couple of years.
Right. So you're saying that based on the customer profile, past actions, you have created a context, and every message by that individual should be looked at based on that context, right?
Yes.
And then better decision making can be done while banning a specific message or stopping a certain message to be broadcasted and so on and so forth. Right?
Yes, and this will also help in especially in Web3 communities. Discord mein, earlier there used to be whitelistings. Everyone used to issue their coins or NFTs, and they used to do whitelisting for those. So for whitelisting, the moderators generally used to say, "Hey, we are starting whitelisting. Whoever is most engaged between these and this period, starting now, will be the ones who will go into the system." So, and then they started channels, created channels, and started monitoring the activities. So, but people started playing with the system, that they formed internal groups and everyone started spamming and just creating random engagement. So those kind of things would not happen if you have a contextual history of that particular individual, that, hey, this is my core member, this is a good member, this is a bad agent in my society. And that creates this whitelisting feature way more efficient and way more flexible as well.
Right. Got it. So it seems to be something like a reputation system, right?
Yeah. So all these are built on top of conversations and participation.
Got it. Right. So what are the some of the ethical considerations or potential biases that are associated with AI technologies in community building?
Okay. That's interesting because yes, there are biases. One I have partially touched upon. So there are two main. One is data bias and second one is explainability. So what I mean by data bias is whatever you are teaching to the AI agent, that is based on the past discussion, past data, which was there in the group chat. So if the past messages were not good, the future messages will take a long time to get to the stage where you want to be. So either you train your data with other communities' data, but that is a complicated kind of a thing. So whatever past data is, that needs to be really good in terms of creating a community. Let's say the past data of a community is such that it incentivizes negative behavior more. Then the future model inherits that bias. Yeah, that's the right word. So that is one. Second one is like explainability in terms of, we have all heard of this, AI systems are kind of like black boxes. A lot of times we or the scientists working on that don't know how AI is producing the answers. So a simple reason is, imagine a layer of multiple walls, and each wall is like creates a certain pattern. And by the end, we know that, hey, when you feed this kind of pattern, it recognizes and outputs a certain kind of pattern. But how the internal walls have been created, how the internal boxes have been set in a way that there is linkages, that is very difficult, and there are billions of such. So for now, complex LLM or complex models, AI models, there are so many layers in between that it is very difficult to juggle around. And some scientists have although tried to do this and identify what kind of tweaking produces what kind of answer, and they were actually quite able to change the predictions by just identifying that a middle layer thing, if you change that parameter by just 0.01%, the entire model will fail. So that is an inherent bias or challenge or shortcoming of the current systems. But yeah.
Got it. Yeah, so I think So these are some very interesting points of using AI technologies in building and engaging Web3 communities, and at the same time, keeping tab on what are the risks, what are the challenges that need to be taken care of. So there is a lot of buzz around, AI and blockchain coming together. So what are other use cases you think would come up now where AI and blockchain can come together?
So I feel one I like to call attention decentralization. Right now, attention is very centralized. There are 4 or 5 large companies who create all the content, and we are engaged and attentive by that. But the community side of things is doing something where there are silos, and you can pick and choose the silo which you like to be a part of. And silos is a negative word, but yeah, communities or cohorts where you want to be a part of, and you listen from those cohorts. So attention decentralization is something which Web3 is bringing to the table, and AI is accelerating the process and could accelerate that process. That is one. Second is it could also help us with a lot of monetary and financial loss which happens in the crypto and blockchain world. A lot of wallet related activities are mishandled, and a lot of people fall victim to those. So the reputation engine and something that is going to take benefits from this. There is I came across a rumor, I don't know about whether it is true or false, but now even the largest layer 2 Polygon have started or is starting experimentations with AI in terms of certain fields and aspects.
Right.
So, yeah.
Got it. No, yeah, that's true. So any other point you would like to touch upon? Any new advancements you see AI will bring in Web3 ecosystem, maybe for engaging community, but other aspects?
So, okay. Right out of the top, I cannot think of a lot of use cases at the moment, especially for Web3. There are use cases which in general works across human interactions and otherwise. But in Web3, I feel that the content creation game, earlier we thought, hey, now the graphic designers are rich because NFTs have come to the pictures. So in 2021, that's what was happening. But some year down the line, now graphic designers jobs are like really into a difficult place with Midjourney and generative AI tools, be it audio, video. So I think of like sensory organs. So we have like audio, video, smell. Smell is something which tech doesn't enable yet. The voice thing, and all reading, text. So all of these have changed. All of these touch points of human to the outside world has been changed by Web3 and AI. But the decentralization aspect of things, I'll circle back to you on that. I'll also think.
Got it.
This is one space which I
Raushan.
found. This is one space which I found and started building on it. But if I find another one, that might be extension of Trikl.
Got it. No, I think Raushan, it has been very exciting knowing about Trikl, learning about how AI is being used to build communities in the Web3 space. And I think some of the points that you have mentioned are generalized and are not specific to Web3, but can be utilized in any kind of communities, whether it's Web2 or Web3. But yeah, a lot of Web3 builders who are listening this can get to see, how AI-based platforms like Trikl are helping gain very useful insights, cut down a lot of manually intensive work, which at times may be even impossible to do it humanly, can be done using AI technologies. Yeah, so I think, anything you would like to add as a closing note?
So a lot of things which we discussed might seem generalized, but is super critical for Web3 especially. because no other technology in the world has been something more so close to the being built so closely with the customers in such a decentralized manner. So for us, for Web3, community is the core. And for the core of that to work out really well, we need to invest a lot in building strong, attentive, and trustworthy communities. Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely. That's right. So
Thank you
thanks
so
a
much
lot, Roshan.
thank you so much for hosting.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, we'll keep in touch and we'll keep on learning more about how AI is going to revolutionize and the Web3 space and in general, and how Web3 is revolutionizing the new internet. So keep smiling, keep building, and thank you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for hosting this. Thank you.